Welcome back to VOP this morning. And the presidency has responded for the second time in 24 hours to former President Olusegun Obasanjo's criticism of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Obasanjo, speaking at the Chinua Achebe Leadership Forum at Yale University, described Nigeria as a failing state and accused the government of falling short with its Emilokon policy. He also alleged widespread corruption and called for a major reform of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Sunday, Dara President Tinubu's special advisor on public communication dismissed Obasanjo's remark as baseless. He accused the former president of presiding over democratic failures and argued that Obasanjo's administration left a legacy of challenges that successful government, including Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are working very hard to resolve. Dare urged Obasanjo to apologize to Nigerians for his alleged failure in addressing the country's infrastructure needs. Presidential advisor Bayo Ononuga also dismissed former President Olusegun Obasanjo's criticism, accusing him of undermining constitutional norms during his tenure, including the controversial impeachment of 4 governors. Meanwhile, the Arewa think tank, ATT, has criticized Obasanjo's call for INEC chairman Mamudu Yakubu's removal, arguing that Obasanjo laid the groundwork for the commission's flaw during his 8-year administration. Both parties reaffirmed support for President Tinubu's effort to address national challenges. Although opposition parties also came to say that Obasanjo is in line with whatever thing he's saying about how this administration is kind of moving Nigeria to a failing state, but it sparked quite a conversation or a debate. Does Obasanjo have the moral right to make all these statements? Just join us during the course of the program. You'll be able to find out. Because here we have Prince Francis Chilaka, a political analyst. He's already in the studio with Darlington Agomuo, a legal practitioner on TV and VOP TV in-house analyst. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Fina, Moses, and...
Good morning, Barrister.
Yes.
Good to have you in today's show.
Yes, you're welcome.
Now, Barrister Darlington, let me start with you. Some people are saying that Obasanjo lacks the moral ground to come up to criticize this present administration. They pointed out some of the things that he didn't do right while he was in office. They talked about poor infrastructure, even when we had $16 million investment that has to go to the electricity or power sector yet, or having an epileptic power supply. Someone also pointed out about how 4 governors were also impeached during his tenure. Do you think Obasanjo has the right, as a former president of this country, to talk about the happenings in the running of the nation?
Yeah, Fina. What is going on with Obasanjo and his consistent criticism of administration that came after him is in his character and is in nature. Obasanjo doesn't see anything good in other people except himself. Seriously, it's even worse when it comes to his kinsmen. The problem of Nigeria started in 1979 when Obasanjo was supposed to hand over to Awolowo. He bungled it for, again, selfish reasons. So, it is consistent with his character. He doesn't see anything good in other people except himself. Yeah, it may not be because nobody is perfect. He may have done 1 or 2 things right. But those things are just ego trip. Like somebody will say GSM and the Council of Death. Yes. When Obasanjo came in 1999, he took over from the military. And of course, when he went around to Council of Death, the Western world said, okay, because he handed over in 1979 to the detriment of Nigerian polity, they now felt they can do business with him. And they saw him as an incorruptible person. And they agreed to cancel those debts. But after that, what followed? Some of the things we're supposed to be enjoying today, Obasanjo had the opportunity, golden opportunity, to put them on ground, especially power. Apart from canceling that debt, I can't even recall any other, any other important thing that Obasanjo did that warrant him to be talking anyhow?
But during Obasanjo's time, Barrister Darlington, is where Nigerians' GDP growth, moved to 15.33%, unlike what it is in today's administration. Isn't that more like shining the light in the right direction, Barrister Darlington?
I told you, I didn't say that he's completely bad. But he should have done more, because to whom much is given, much is expected. If you consider the resources available to Obasanjo, he should have done more.
Those resources are they no longer available now in this present time? And if they are not available, who are we to blame for that?
No. The thing is that within your tenure, why couldn't you do something that, yes, posterity will say, yes, you did this, you did this. At least we can hold on to it. Than for you to be criticizing people for what you did 10 times over.
All right.
That is where I find it difficult to understand. When you come to all this morality and all that, is Obasanjo the best? They say charity begins at home. Oh. Let him start from his home.
All right. Barrister Darlington, thanks very much for your take. Prince Chidaka, let's bring you into this conversation. I would like to ask you the question. The message and the messenger. Where should we concentrate our attention? I mean, Obasanjo has been talking. Why is it possible that we keep Obasanjo away as a person from what it's saying? Let's look at what he's been saying. Is Obasanjo the only person that understands that Nigeria is tilting towards being a failed state? Is Obasanjo, when Obasanjo talks about the failing economy, is this saying it because he wants to target a particular individual, or is he saying what other people are saying? Let's just divulge the message from the messenger.
I think the sad reality about Nigeria is the fact that over time we've had leaders and elders who are beclouded in their small boxes. They don't want to think out of the box. And I find it very, very insulting and very annoying each time people leave the issues on ground and attack a personality. We must understand that governance is a continuum. Obasanjo might not have been the best, or he might not have done the best he could as a leader, but we know that as at the time Obasanjo was president, Nigerians could bounce, Nigerians were happy. We know how much a liter of petrol was going for. As at the time Obasanjo was leaving office, how much was a liter of petrol? It was about 64, 17 naira per liter. So how much is a liter of petrol today? 1,000 plus. And then people will say, Obasanjo this, Obasanjo that. Obasanjo is talking like an elder, which is expected of him. We must not keep saying because somebody has done something wrong, he has no moral right to ask other people to do the right thing. All Obasanjo is asking this government to do is to understand the fact that all the indices of a failed state is staring Nigeria in the face. And like I said the last time, the only thing that is holding Nigeria together is the resilience of the people. It is the people that has refused for anarchy to hold sway. It is the people that have refused for total breakdown of law and order. But other than that, if we follow the antecedents of this government, it's almost a year and 8 months. Today, dollar is 1,730 something naira, compared to when Obasanjo left office.
Okay, now I was just about to interrupt there. If you want to compare, is it fair? Is it fair to make that comparison? You're comparing now. This is 18 months or thereabouts of this administration in comparison to when he left office, after spending 8 years. Is it fair to make that comparison?
It is very fair, because governance is continuum.
No, but he's just
it doesn't matter. Don't also forget that this government, from day one, misfired. This government from day one took the wrong step. A baby needs to crawl before walking. This government from day one jumped the fence and said subsidy is gone.
Saying subsidy is gone.
Yes, you see, no. We need to understand that the livelihood of Nigerians is dependent on the
But you also recall, if memory serves me right, there was a time Nigerians' fuel price went up, and then Obasanjo came out and said, look, if Nigerians can buy beer for a certain amount of money, Nigeria should be able to buy fuel as well.
Are you not saying that because of that,
wasn't that a reckless statement?
Everybody in government makes a reckless statement. Your current president, his May 29th speech, 2023, was a reckless one. When he said subsidy is gone.
It was a reckless one?
It was a completely reckless one. It was not necessary at that time. You don't say something when you do not have the window with which to solve the problem.
But that's a way for him to also reduce the way Nigerians are milking the country dry. He said something about how so many Nigerians have been benefiting from that subsidy.
See,
and he went further to say that if Nigeria continue paying subsidy, then we are also at the brink of bankruptcy. So don't you think that
when Bola Tinubu made that statement, a lot of us were happy. We said, oh, for once, somebody is going to come to persecute some individuals. Who has been persecuted since then? So you just don't make callous statements. It's like Bayo Onanuga and the others saying all sorts of rubbish against Obasanjo. But they forget that the same Bola Tinubu went against the constitution when he created local governments, LCDs in Lagos. He disrupted the system. So you cannot say, well, Obasanjo is totally bad. Obasanjo has no say. In other words, you're saying that, oh, we are a government. Nobody should criticize us. But the question we should be asking ourselves, the things Obasanjo is saying, the things Atiku has been saying, are there ingredients in them? Are there things that we should hold on to?
All right.
How much is Gary today? How much was Gary when Obasanjo was in power? How much is rice today? So we need to understand, what is the living standard of Nigerians? Nigerians have become impoverished. Nigerians are now living in poverty.
Prince,
the middle class in Nigeria has been completely eroded.
Prince, before we travel far, I want to bring us back to the issue of fuel subsidy. We'll talk about that in a bit and then move on. Now, the people managing our economy, I mean the World Bank and IMF, because they seem to be the ones managing our economy, have said that, look, the removal of fuel subsidy was the right step in the right direction.
Mr. Koro, these same people who run IMF and World Bank, in their own countries, is energy not subsidized? Is energy not subsidized? Why must it be that Africa has become the land for practice, a land where you just theorize, a land where you just put in everything, you want to test all the parameters of failure? Why is it that it is only in Africa that they will tell you that the World Bank will dictate to your leaders? Are you not saying that all the economists we have in Nigeria, all the accountants we have in Nigeria, they are useless or what? Why can't they think out of the box? If somebody walks into your house today and tell you, Mr. Okoro, stop giving your children protein, will you accept that without doing a simple study to know what protein does to the life of your children?
What if the protein is making them obese?
Yeah.
In what way?
I just asked.
And that's why
Because
the man that is telling you to stop, is he not using it?
Because it looks like the subsidy regime was benefiting just a few people.
Who are those beneficiaries?
All right, Barrister Darlington.
Why is it that this government, in all sincerity, why is it that this government has not come out to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the beneficiaries of subsidy? We are persecuting them. They have been treating Nigerians wrongly. They've been cheating Nigerians. They've been stealing out of Nigerians' welfare. Why?
Some will say that if that table is being touched,
we must see. Then it simply means that this government does not have what it takes to fight corruption.
But Mr. Prince Francis Chilaka, some also say something about Nigeria still having, a particular people. They call them the moguls, or rather, the clique, to be the ones controlling the affairs of major sources of revenue generation, which is the oil and gas industry. Now, don't you think that those powers that be are the ones making us have this opaque nature?
Your president, I remember a few weeks back or months, your president said that he has no godfather and that nobody helped to make him a president. That he became a president out of his own wealth. Now, a man like that, I would expect him to fight corruption headlong. I would expect him to decimate anyone who stands in the way. But what we see playing out is a president that has turned himself into a traveler. Johnny Walker. He's moving around, enjoying himself, asking Nigerians to be patient. Yet,
Do you think
He's
that
enjoying the best time of his life.
Do you think that the story around how he might be active access to CIA is what is also posing this challenge in doing all the things he's supposed to do, Francis?
Well, I don't know what, I know, I read that he's an asset
Active one.
to CIA. They have not told us what kind of asset he is.
All right. Let me bring you back to Barrister Darlington now. Barrister, you did say something. You said you're not particularly impressed why Obasanjo should be talking. What did he do? He just reduced Nigeria's debt burden. Am I correct? You are not impressed. Is that not enough to have done at the time in comparison with what Nigeria is owing right now? And in fact, in the news today, we hear that Nigeria, the presidency is the federal government, I beg your pardon, is about to borrow another amount of money.
Now, there are situations whereby the opportunity will be thrust on you by providence. In other words, time and chance may make you popular. The time Obasanjo came into office, everybody knew what was going on with the military and all that. So, for him to take over the helm of affairs as a civilian president, the Western world, we are worried that Nigeria should not remain a military zone and all that. And so that ushered him in. And with it, he enjoyed a lot of goodwill, both within and outside Nigeria. That opportunity, yes, he used it to his own advantage by making sure that our debts are cancelled. But what I'm saying, going forward, apart from this debt that was cancelled, was there any other thing that was so outstanding that Obasanjo did?
But he revitalized the agricultural sector and encouraged the youth participation in agriculture.
You see, Moses, I have stopped settling for tokenism. They have used this method to brainwash Nigerians. When you see a leader who's supposed to give you 80% performance and they give you 30, you will celebrate it as if he's the next thing after God.
Is that not better than not getting anything at all?
That's what I'm telling you now. To whom much is given, much is expected. Obasanjo should have done more.
Well, he also established the EFCC.
All those
he established the EFCC and the ICPC.
They were
to fight corruption.
They were all self-serving. If Obasanjo have done so much, my dear, it will be showing. His record will be there. Nobody will rubbish it. Like this power we are talking about today. Obasanjo would have told us that under his watch, he gave Nigerians at least 15,000 megawatts of.
But he can actually say that under his watch, telecommunication sector was privatized it became what it is today in Nigeria.
Somebody started it. He concluded it because it was necessary for him to do that. As at that time, Nitel was gone. None of them could even call their friends and relations within and outside Nigeria. All national thrones are busy. All national thrones are busy. Is that not what we are hearing from Nitel at that time? So it was very, very necessary. If GSM was to be an exclusive right of the elite, you wouldn't have had it, Moses. If there's a way they can put this internet backbone in their backyard and make sure that they are the only one enjoying it, no poor man would have accessed a GSM in Nigeria. It's just that it became inevitable. They couldn't help it. That was why they hurriedly, joined the other civilized world to give you internet, to give you GSM. Apart from that, what other thing? Tell me, what other thing did they give you that you can say, yes, this thing, I'm enjoying it today because it is my right? But mention any other thing. Right now, the poorest man can carry one balasa phone and inside his one room or inside the toilet, he can call his friend or his relations in the US or UK. The same.
Barrister Darlington, Fina just said something about in the past 25 years, Nigeria has not witnessed the kind of GDP growth that was experienced during the Obasanjo regime.
You are coming to that place. What was the world economy then? If you are talking of, yes, GDP, fine. But if Obasanjo had done much more, the GDP would have been much more than what we experienced under him. That's what I'm telling you. If you are expected, if you have been given all the opportunity and privilege to score maybe 80%, and you ended up scoring 30 or 40%, I will not celebrate you.
So why is it that people don't hold on to the 40%, like you just said, up until this time for it to yield the necessary dividend?
No,
why
what I'm saying in essence is that Obasanjo, fine. Let me tell you, because this is one of the things that this man has been using to deceive Nigerians. He cannot deceive me. Are you getting what I'm saying? Obasanjo conducted the worst election that even Yar'Adua denounced. His own president. I mean, look at it yourself.
Our election is better now.
All the states he took by power, by force, especially in Anambra. Is that the hallmark of a Democrat?
Barrister, Chukuma is asking the question, our election is better now?
If it's not better now, then Obasanjo should equally share in the blame.
The fact that Obasanjo did something right, does it necessarily mean that his followers, people that his successors must always do the same?
You should lay the foundation. Look, every country, America's foundation was led by Washington. I told you the story. This man was to become an absolute monarchy. That is, after God, an American president or American royalty. George Washington had it on a platter of gold. They wanted to give him that. But he said, no, that you don't fight the American War of Independence for him to become an absolute monarchy. He refused to surrender to the military who wanted to crown him.
But I like the fact that you talked about elections now, Obasanjo conducting elections, you know. Now, Prince Chinaka, one of the things Obasanjo said at Yale University is that Mahmoud Yakubu should be fired.
Honestly,
he's not the only person that has said
honestly speaking, I would say, when you talk about Mahmoud Yakubu, I'm one of those that hide my face in shame for him. Because after what happened with the 2023 election, any sane person would have expected him to resign.
All right. I have not actually landed on my question. Now, my question is this. If you fire Mahmoud Yakubu, who appoints the next umpire?
Good.
Sorry. If you appoint, the same president has the power to appoint the next umpire. Shouldn't we be talking about removing the powers to appoint the head of the umpire from the presidency? Now, place it in such a hand that it becomes the power of the people to appoint an umpire. Like, say, elect an umpire through an electoral process.
One thing I have a lot of regards and respect for Obasanjo for is that he just doesn't talk. He talks and professes solutions. If you follow the speech he delivered, he gave you a solution, a wonderful solution on how to appoint INEC executives. And he also gave you a solution on how to ensure that they do not get power drunk and corrupt. That is what leadership is all about.
Did he do it?
It doesn't matter whether he did it or not. We must, Mr. Barrister, we must come out of that situation. We can't keep living in the past. We can't keep saying, oh, he didn't do it. Why is he asking somebody else to do it? We must understand that sovereignty belongs to the people. And Obasanjo's position is that let that power of electing the INEC chairman come back to the people. INEC was given 300 and something billion naira to conduct 2023 election. The INEC chairman left Nigeria and went to Chatham House and promised the whole world everything that he would do to ensure we have the best election. What happened at the end of the day? Up to today, Yakub has not been able to tell Nigerians the kind of glitch they had that truncated that election or that truncated that process. So we cannot keep saying, oh, Obasanjo didn't do it. Obasanjo didn't do it. So we should keep throughout whatever he says. No, I'm not going to accept that from anybody. Right. I still believe that Obasanjo has given us a way out. The thing is that will this government, will the senators, the honorable members, will they sit down and study that speech and find a way to bring it to fruition?
So can you talk a bit about the solutions proffered by Obasanjo so that the listener at home
he said one thing. He said the power of electing the chairman should be removed from Mr. President.
And placed where?
And placed in the hand of the people. Everybody should be involved. And he should be a man of proven character and integrity. It makes a lot of sense. If we have people who are from different parties representing us in the National Assembly, why don't they all come together and appoint somebody devoid of any party affiliation? That is the way to go.
Is that possible?
It is possible.
All right, I think the barrister has
Different opinion.
a different opinion. Barrister,
Yes.
you seem to be disagreeing.
Yeah, in fact, it's not possible. Let us now try what is not possible. Let me tell you, as long as an INEC chairman does not get his funding from first line charge, somebody is going to fund him, somebody is going to give him money, and that is the executive, the president. After your election or whatever, somebody is going to fund him.
But the governors are elected, and then, according to the constitution, the center still funds them.
That's what I'm saying. I tell you, even the National Assembly members you elected, are they not being controlled by Tinubu?
Are they being controlled?
They are
by
being
the
controlled.
executive
I
all
thought
the
you told
time?
you that whatever he brings, he will sign it. Have you not thought of that?
Are we focusing on this administration, or let's look at the holistic point?
Okay, let us start from the Obasanjo era. If it was possible, why didn't he do it? It's as simple as that. His own president denounced the election that brought him to power, Yar'Adua. It was even Yar'Adua who started the electoral reform. A very gentle man, a very sincere man. It is unheard of in the history of politics in Nigeria. You know, anybody that said no problem, he will continue to wallow in that infamy. But the man said, no, this is wrong. Why didn't Obasanjo see something there? Obasanjo disobeyed court order. When the court said that Andrew Ba should leave Anambra government house, after the court have ruled, he asked the man to stay there. It was one of the first things Yar'Adua did immediately he came into office. He told Andrew Ba to leave within 6 hours that he should vacate from that place. In fact, the man was so hard that he did not even collect all his belongings. As he was leaving, Peter was coming in. Why did that? Look, some of the things Obasanjo did not, it was very wrong. Very, very wrong. Let us call a spade here. You saw how he was using Ngige and the Oba brothers, and they were doing rough fight in Anambra. That Anambra had no governance for almost how many years? Ngige was there as an illegal governor for 3 years before Peter Obi came in.
Barrister, let's come back to the issue of appointing the INEC chairman. I think we'd like to settle on that matter.
Okay.
You know, we don't have the say here, but let Nigerians understand the direction we should be going.
Let me tell you how that matter can be resolved. It's not about electing an INEC chairman. Do you know one of the reasons why the American president have succeeded is this electoral college? In their own wisdom, they selected some states that would decide who will be American president.
Was that wisdom or selfishness?
No, it wasn't. It was wisdom. It was wisdom because even in UK, as far back as 1948, UK graduates were voting twice in an election. It was in 1948 that they stopped it. Because they believe that those graduates should know more, they should know better. Whether you like it or not, there are people who are ignorant of what is going on in the society. So you should give them that preference because they understand better, they know better. They can take decisions that will benefit the whole people. You give them that privilege. All those federalists, you remember how America came into being? They recognize that fact that America came into being by what? By cooperation of some states. Those original indigenes, they still have regard for them. And that was where the electoral college came in.
What I'm saying is that electoral college is being influenced by some people or some ideas too.
In what way?
Because we have a whole lot of Americans going out to cast their vote. And when you talk about the electoral college, I just have minimum, just a little few.
538 of them.
Don't you think that this is more like a way of disenfranchisement?
No. I am telling you, they are looking at their history. The only problem we have in Nigeria, we are forgetting our history. You forgot how you came into being. We are amalgamated from north and south. If those things we are taken into consideration, my dear, we will not be where we are today. We just come into a being and forget where we are coming from. That's the problem we have. You forget your history. If we are taking into cognizance our history, some of these problems would have been sorted out.
I also know, Barrister, that you understand that in Nigeria, you talk about the amalgamation of 1914, where the North and the South were being put together. What about the other tribes that we have in Nigeria, in minority, that actually refuse to either belong to the South or the North, or, according to how the geopolitical zone are now? Barrister, what will happen to them if we're to go through the route of having the electoral college?
No, I didn't I didn't say that Nigeria should have electoral college. Get it? I'm not giving you an example. How people take cognizance of their history to do things that will help them to succeed.
Okay.
That will stabilize the polity. All these permutations we are doing here now, if somebody like Obasanjo have started it, where do you think we
okay, Barrister, if you're not...
He didn't do it. And now we are not giving the same, we are not trying to recommend the same medicine for somebody.
Barrister,
why didn't you take the medicine yourself?
You cited the electoral college in the case of America, but you haven't brought it back to Nigeria. How do you think Nigerians can elect the INEC chairman?
I am coming there. Hold on, I am coming there.
Okay.
It's as simple as ABC. If only people will listen.
We are listening.
Now, you have the judiciary, who should play a very major role in Nigeria. We always say the judiciary is the hope of the common man. Remove this INEC thing from the hands of the executive and the legislature. Hand it over to the judiciary. We have judges with clean record, both serving and retired. Why can't you look at them? Look at them and say, come. Anoputa passed through this land. And Justice Esho passed through this land. You know them. Incorruptible judges we had. Today we still have them. Why can't we look for them?
Barrister Darlington, the judiciary is headed by the NJC. Now the head of the NJC is appointed by the president. How do you remove that subservience?
No, oh God Almighty, I am saying the NJC, they are a body. Good. Make them
with a head.
Yes.
Appointed by the president.
Yes. They should be as independent as the Constitution have allowed them. It's just that we
independent?
Hold on, they should be. That's what I'm saying now. They should be. It is you and I who have allowed the executive to trample on these people.
So are they still the hope of the common man when you just made this?
It is because you and I have allowed the infamy of the executive to continue.
So now that you've ruled out this judiciary, what other remedy are you preferring? What other
there is no other remedy. When it comes to legality, it is the judiciary that will take the first this step.
You just told us now that the executive also have its grip on the judiciary. So by going to work with
remove it from their hand now. It's not their purview. The executive is not supposed to trample on the right of the other arms of government. But because you every Nigerian have allowed it. That's what I'm telling you here. The populace should wake up and say, no, you cannot do this. That is why you said eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. Most of the things we are tolerating here, can you try it in America? The answer is no. So when we rise up and say, no, we don't want this, the executive will control it. But here, anything goes.
All right.
And you and I keep quiet.
All right.
So how will the man behave anyhow?
Prince Chilaka, one of the things Obasanjo talked about is that Nigeria is nearing a fatal stage when it comes to corruption. From what you have seen in the past 18 months, I mean, we have the ICPC tell us we recovered so amount of money. We have the EFCC tell us we have recovered so amount of money. Do you think that this particular administration will, by the time it ends in 2027, the first instance, do you think that they will have achieved a sizable milestone, a good milestone when you talk about fighting corruption?
When EFCC comes out to tell Nigerians they've recovered certain amount of money, the question that begs for an answer is, where is this money kept? Is it that the money is recovered and the EFCC has a right to disburse or to use as they want? In which account are this money paid into? Until we know where this money is paid into and what these monies are used for, then we'll know whether they are recovering money or not.
So we should at least give them kudos for the fact that
I won't give them kudos because I do not even know whether they are recovering one kobo.
So we should have talked about recovery instead of way to domicile.
Few days back, if you remember, they told you how much each Nigeria is owing. They came out, government did not hide it. Government came out and told you that based on their calculations or based on the amount of loans that Nigeria has collected over the years, this is what every Nigeria is owing. Why is it that EFCC will not come out and tell us that we have recovered 10 billion naira and this 10 billion naira has been credited into this account? So that Nigerians will know. Unfortunately, we have a country where governance is not about accountability. It's not about transparency. It's not about inclusiveness. You cannot fight corruption when you do not open your books to the Nigerian people. It's one thing to say you're fighting corruption. And like I said when we started, when this government came to power, they said subsidy is gone. Mr. President promised Nigerians that he was going to deal with those who are responsible. How many persons have they arrested so far? How many persons have been persecuted? When the government had issues with Dangote refinery over the refinery, whether it's going to function or not, and Dangote came on air and told Nigerians that there is a mortar blending plant. What has happened to it? Who are those responsible? Has anyone been prosecuted?
So you don't think that this administration has the will?
This administration doesn't.
Because Obasanjo cited that Nigeria ranks 150 among 150 people, in the corruption perception index.
Well, I don't know how you people define fighting corruption. But you know that in Nigeria, before you know it, they will tell you corruption is fighting back. If you're fighting corruption, all the former governors, some are sitting in the Senate today, their retirement home. How many of them have been persecuted? Where is Yahya Bello? Let us even start from the known to the unknown.
It's interesting you went.
Where is Beta Edu? What has happened? How do you fight corruption when you keep hiding things from the people?
Even today also, Auditor General of the Federation made us understand that they've uncovered a 3.4 trillion naira fraud in MDAs. Now, what MDAs are we?
You see, this government thrives on propaganda. And that is why Mr. President has over bloated propagandists working for him, 13 of them. As SA Media, SA this, SA that.
Is it really propaganda?
It is propaganda because if it is not propaganda, now, the Accountant General has come out to gaslight Nigerians. Who are the ministers, or who are the executive directors, or who are the DGs of these MDAs? It's just a news. It will fizzle out. Nothing will happen. You don't fight corruption that way. We saw when the former MD of NDDC was brought to court and he collapsed and the case has gone. Nothing has happened. The former Attorney General of the Federation is the one telling Nigerian government how much he's going to return from the loot he took from the state government, from the federal government. So long as we have people who are seen as above the law, you cannot fight corruption.
All right, Barrister.
Yes.
If elder statesmen like Obasanjo don't come up at some point in time to put governments, successive governments on their toes, do you think Nigerians will be fair in judging them?
If you have performed below par during your time, why would you come up to criticize others?
But you know what they say about seeing a lot more clearer when you're off the pitch.
No, it's not enough. It's not enough. These are part of the problem. We celebrate people who have even caused our problem. I don't like it. Seriously, I don't. If Obasanjo had kept quiet, it would have been better. Because whatever he's saying now cannot hold water. He knows that Tinubu will not listen to him. They are sworn enemies. Everything he's saying now, it is born out of vendetta. You and I know that. So, All this thing he's talking about now, why didn't you implement it? You had the opportunity.
Barrister Go, I want to totally disagree
No,
with you.
no,
There's no
hold on.
vendetta here.
Hold on.
If you had followed the trajectory of
Hold
Obasanjo
on.
during Buhari's era, he kept writing letters. He
Listen.
kept calling him to order.
Listen.
This is what a leader should
Hold
do.
on,
This
no.
is what an elder in the country
Please,
should do. Let us forget this idea of saying
Hold on,
Obasanjo didn't
Mr.
do this,
Chinaka,
and we must
listen.
continue to live in a situation that we're not moving forward.
Hold on.
Let him land on
Mr.
this
Chinaka,
one.
please
Let him
listen
land.
very well. Listen. Obasanjo was talking down on Jonathan until the man managed him, until the Buhari came. And he started. When he started, the Buhari now went into a particular file about the death of Bola Ige. And investigation was pointing towards one direction. Pronto. Buhari asked him to come to Abuja. The day Obasanjo was going there, he went with his daughter, one of his daughters. And when he went inside to talk with Buhari, he told the girl to stay at the reception. After that discussion, Obasanjo came out, no word was said, and since that time he slowed down. He was not talking again. Under his watch, your own Attorney General died. Look, before God, the worst thing that anybody could do is to either cover or be an accessory or refuse to investigate the murder of a human being. God doesn't like it.
Sorry,
I was thinking that Obasanjo would have tidied that end.
Barrister
Your Attorney General died and you could not find out who killed him.
When Atiku Abubakar criticizes Tinubu, is it because of vendetta?
Hold on, please. I'm talking of Obasanjo.
No. Exactly. We are going back to the issue of the message and the messenger.
Yes, Obasanjo shouldn't be wrong talking because he's part of the
Okay,
problem.
but Atiku can talk.
Yeah, of course. He was a bright president.
Chilaka can talk.
He was never in the saddle. Atiku was never. You and I know what happened to Atiku. So Atiku would have been a president. He had it on a platter of gold. But Obasanjo knelt down and begged him to allow him to go for a second term. Immediately Obasanjo entered second term. He wanted him, he became the same man who gave him a platform. How do you justify that?
Barrister, so you have a problem with the messenger and not the message.
Both of them, he shouldn't give us the message. He should have said it when he was in the
Are you saying that he's inciting citizenry, against the constituted?
He's good at doing that. He's good at doing that. All the things he's talking about now, he had the opportunity of putting it in place. He never did.
Oh, Prince, you share a different
He never did. All the things that Obasanjo was doing was self-serving.
Okay. All right, Barrister.
He's not a statesman as he claimed.
Thank you.
All his infamy. If you open his book here, you will run.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
His own wife wrote a book before she died, Moji Obasanjo. She said she was crying the day he had that we voted Obasanjo as our president. What does that tell you? His two children, the first one and the father, they disowned him as their father. Charity begins at home now. I don't like this. You people celebrate what is not. I don't like it.
All right, Barrister.
Obasanjo is not what he claimed. He's not.
All right then.
He's not.
Okay.
Go and look at Obasanjo Presidential Library. What happened there? EFCC wanted to investigate him. Immediately, he sacked his DG and closed the place. I mean, please, people should do. OFN, Obasanjo farm. Operation Feed the Nation.
Yes.
Who converted it to himself? OFN, Operation Feed the Nation. It now became Obasanjo Farm Nigeria Limited. How did that happen? Please, people should be very careful. Every time this man will be talking as if he's the only person. What did you know?
Okay, thank you very much, Barrister Darlington. Prince, you share a different view.
I totally share a different.
Go ahead.
I come from a school of thought where I believe that we can't be doing the same thing, same way, and expecting a different result.
Tomorrow now, Tinubu will come and preach to us.
As far as I'm concerned,
Tinubu will come and preach to us tomorrow. Leave office and come and preach to us.
as far as I'm
We'll
concerned,
listen to him.
Obasanjo had his flaws as a president, but that does not
He's
take
seen
away,
better now that
that
he's
does
on the
not
other
take
side.
away the fact that he has become an elder statesman and that he's seeing things from a different perspective. Obasanjo is not saying anything different from what every Nigerian, even the Nigerians on the street, have been saying. Nigerians are not finding things easy. Why? Because of the somersaulting policies of this government. When Obasanjo was in power, we should be asking questions. How much was petrol? How much was a bag of rice? How much was a bag of beans? How much was a bag of garri? How were Nigerians feeding? Today we heard that 18,000 or so children are out of school. How many children were out of school during Obasanjo's tenure? During Obasanjo's tenure, we had the middle class. Today, where is the middle class? So these are questions begging for an answer. It's not to say Obasanjo is not has no right to be able to do anything. No, Obasanjo has a right to raise issues. And it is not left for government, those in government, to take those things and look at them and find out which one is workable and which one is not. But to tell me that everything Obasanjo is saying is rubbish because you feel that when he was a president, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, then we're not being fair to ourselves.
Now, Barrister Darlington, just a quick one before we move over to the second topic of conversation.
Okay.
As you give us also your concluding thought. Now, I want you just to do this quick comparison. Obasanjo's first 18 months in office and Tinubu's first 18 months in office. Which one do you want to go with?
Obasanjo's, yes, even first year, I mean, second year in office, they were far, far more better than what you are seeing today. I have told you here, Obasanjo was a child of circumstance. Give it or leave it. He came in after the military have ravaged Nigeria for many years. And so, people saw him as a fresh of a breath of fresh air. Both within and outside. They welcomed him because they have seen a civilian administration in Nigeria, and that was what the Western world was looking at. Remember, they were interested in their money. Remember, we were owing so much, and Obasanjo had to do a deal with them to cancel those debts. That was what happened. People should look at. I don't like people who are exploiting the ignorance of the masses for their own selfish interests. Okay, after the cancellation of the what happened? Every other thing that Obasanjo was supposed to have done as a statesman, he didn't do them. Rather, he was after his own selfish ego. He want to run for third term. He want to do this. He want to do that. He even put a gun on his own chairman of the Pampa to resign. After he had gone to his house to eat pounded yam and bushmeat. He was changing the Senate president like he was changing rapper. In fact, he was acting like a bull in a China shop. Grabbing every state by his own power. He did not institute democracy. Internal democracy was not in a PDP. He was not acting on his own. So all those things he did now, how can you just brush it away and you are blaming other people who are copied from you?
Okay, Prince Francis.
You have done something better for the democracy.
Okay,
All
Prince,
right.
let's get a concluding thought, and you also have to tell us if Obasanjo have the moral ground to say all the things you've said about this administration or not.
If we say he has no moral right to say what he's saying, then we're not ready as a country to move forward. We must be a people that believes in learning from our past. And I believe that Obasanjo is creating that platform for other leaders after him to learn and to ensure that this country becomes a better country.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prince Francis Chilakan. Thank you, Barrister Darlington Agomuo, for being part of today's show. We'll have to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about how present administration under Bola Ahmed Tinubu spent 7.4 trillion naira on Nigeria's debt servicing and 3.4 trillion naira on capital expenditure in 8 months. Just stay with us.